We are right now. We're live. Hey, D, is it middle of the week? It's Wednesday.
It's middle of the week. Happy Wednesday.
I know, but it's hard for me to catch up with my days because last week in DC for the whole week, and then you get into and it's just so many things that are happening. It's very busy. By the way, we were in DC not only to bring you everything that was happening during the Save America Act vote and being there, but also launching our newest venture, which is Rightline. And you can check out Rightline on the weekends nationally. That's right. It is our national show. It's 2 hours of goodness. There it is. So yeah, Rightline, your national voice. It streams Saturdays 9 to 11 a.m. On our social media platforms. And then obviously across the country over the weekends. Tune in your favorite radio station. If they're not carrying the show, ask them why they're not. But be kind about it. So yes, Rightline is our new venture. So just to let you know about that. It is good to hear that FBI Director Kash Patel has been speaking with Dan Bongino and some big discoveries. Many people have wondered, hey, when are we going to get down to the actual funding of everything that we know that has been going on with all of these, the protests, some might say rioting, all the things that have been happening for the longest time. It's like, can we just see who's funding them? When you see trucks pulling up, D, ever see those videos with the trucks pulling up where they have the professionally made signs and everybody's like, all right, okay, everybody, we're done for the day. Put the signs back. And then they come up with the truck and literally they're...
Yep, return the signs here. Big U-Haul trucks.
Right, thanks so much. And, all of that. So people are like, well, are we going to get down to the bottom of all this? Like, who's funding it? It is not spontaneous. It's not grandma and the daughter and the granddaughter all sitting there in the house. And they're like, Grandma, I want to protest. And grandma's like, well, let's make some signs here. And I sound like, yeah, it's an interesting grandma sound. And then there they are. It's crayons. Do you have crayons, honey? I got them right here. And then they do the crayon thing, and it's like, and then you get outside, and it's like, I can't even see really what's written there because you didn't do it very well. No, it's all professionally done. Well, Kash Patel, FBI director, on Dan Bongino's podcast today to let him know that I think we've figured out who's funding all of this.
We're going to look at the facts that exist. We're not going to try to make up facts that don't so we can serve a political narrative. And wait till you, and I know you know this, but wait till you see what's coming in the next month or two on the funding streams related to this. You and I had launched a serious investigation. We had said these organizations don't operate alone, don't operate in silence. They operate with a heavy stream of funding. And we started looking into it, and guess what, Dan? We found them.
Yeah, that's right. So they found them. So they know what the funding on the screen was about a federal grand jury in Fort Worth indicting 9 North Texas Antifa cell operatives, 7 more charged by information with offenses including rioting, weapons and explosives use, providing material support to terrorists, obstruction, attempted murder of an Alvarado police officer, unarmed correctional officers at the Prairieland Detention Center on July 4th, 2025. That was announced by the acting U.S. Attorney General for the Northern District of Texas. Yeah, but it's all peaceful, though, right? They're all about peaceful protesting. It's grandma with the crayons and the kid, right? Isn't that what it's all? No, not so much. So that was a little bit of what was said today. And, that's the important aspect of the story is that there are people who are working hard to not only stop Antifa cell members from doing a lot of the rioting and weapons and explosive use, among other things, but also the FBI director who's thinking the same thing that we're thinking. Like, look, we want to find out who's funding this. It's not spontaneous. Everybody knows it. We see it for ourselves, and we're going to find out who's funding it wherever it leads. It doesn't make a difference where it goes. Let's find out who's funding it. If there are some shocks and surprises, like, wait a minute, I thought I liked them. Or, hey, I buy their product. I don't know what the case may be, but let's find out together. And then another part of this that I wanted to bring up before we move on is that there's no doubt when you talk about saving the republic, one person that comes to mind right away is Elon Musk. There's no doubt about it.
Things are getting weird, and they're getting weird fast.
They are getting weird fast. And thanks to Elon Musk and the buying of Twitter at the time and opening everything up to be able to have us not only speak freely about what we think and feel about what's going on across the globe in this country and our community here in Florida, but also to be able to search out and find the truth and the facts. And when somebody says, we choose truth over facts. That's not what I'm. No, I meant to say. No, I meant to say when we're telling when someone tells us that these are the facts, this is exactly what happened. It's like, I got questions about this. I just want to double check. Can I do the vetting for myself? Can I do that? And so we get the opportunity to do it, and that is very important. So good to hear. The funders of Antifa terrorists. Wait till you find out next couple of months these funding streams. And yep, we need to know. What else we got? Speaking of Democrats, we have a lot to cover today. More nonsense with Stephen Colbert, like we should be paying attention to somebody who barely gets ratings, and there's news on ratings too. Also, we've got more on what has been happening in education. It's just unbelievable, some of the things that I've discovered through social media. Thanks to Elon Musk once again, and others. But look, just know that the Democrats are going to continue to try to cause trouble wherever they go. It's just a thing. It's what they do, right, Nancy? You bet you're laughing all the way to the... Well, when are you leaving? You're leaving soon? Are we almost done with you, Nancy? Anyway, so just like it was ridiculous, Nancy Pelosi at the State of the Union address, Trump 1.0, and the ripping of the speech and trying to make a statement, and everybody like, whoa, that's bold, that's unbelievable. No, that was dumb. That was just dumb. I could think of some other things I was thinking about at the time, but it's a family show, and we don't go there. So what's the next dumb thing that Democrats are going to do? Let's see. Oh, we got a segment here called Dumb, 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 Dumb. All right, here we go. Dumb, 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 Dams. Well, it looks like the State of the Union's in play once again. I guess they've decided that the ripping of the speech and at the time, what he was talking about, praising Americans, soldiers, Tuskegee Airmen, a child who lost his father, an angel family, historic unemployment, and let's rip all of that up. The symbolism there is, So now, House Democrat, I said House Democrats. I was going to say House...
Yeah, let's not say that again.
I almost said Democrats, but Democrats are plotting. That's why, according to The Hill, that's... House Democrats are plotting. That's a hard sentence right there. House Democrats are plotting a range of moves to broadcast their defiance of Trump during his State of the Union address to Congress. Why? We already know you're defiant. We already know that you talk a big game when it comes to protecting citizens on the streets of America, and then when it comes right down to it, you're like, yeah, no, well, let's protect the illegals, please. Tell me where I'm wrong. Trump's speech marks a significant flashpoint amid a Department of Homeland Security shutdown. By the way, the shutdown, the DHS shutdown, the Schumer shutdown that's going on right now, the partial shutdown. Oh, there's even a little tidbit on that we're going to get to in just a second. You're going to really like this one. They're locked in this impasse over reforms on ICE, and okay. So what are they going to do? It appears as if the plan right now is going to be that the Democrats are planning on not attending, a bunch of them. Senator Ed Markey and Senator Merkley and Chris Murphy and Chris Van Hollen. He's the one who was hanging around with the Maryland man.
The Maryland man thought to be wrongly deported. Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
A Maryland man.
Hey, you want a margarita? Let's go hang out. Yeah, that guy and others. So they're planning on not attending the State of the Union. And they're going to instead have their own quote-unquote People's State of the Union on the National Mall. So their plan is, we're not going to rip things up this time. Maybe that was a little over the top, but not for Nancy. No, this time we're just not going to show up, and we're going to go out to the National Mall, and we're going to have our own State of the Union, and we're going to trash. Like, you don't know what's going to happen? They're going to trash the president. They're going to trash Republicans. Probably trash Christians as well. Well, I throw that in as well. It seems like there's a lot of that going on lately. The white Christian nationalists, that kind of discussion. Anyway, so yeah, it appears as if that's going to be their new thing. Because Democrats, and this is what they do. All right, go ahead.
This is what you do.
I'll bet it is.
What you do.
Yeah, we call that Dum Dum Dems is what we call that. There we go.
Dum 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 dum.
I told you, there's a little song there.
Dum 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 Dems.
Yeah, it's really not it's not funny. Although they continue to laugh, they think it's hysterical. So about what is going on with Democrats and the backfire. I just wanted to mention this before we get into some Florida headlines. So it appears as if this partial shutdown because of the Department of Homeland Security and the funding of ICE and like, well, they have an internal watchdog. And the Democrats have been arguing that one of the big problems that they have is, we need body cams until they realize that the body cams could show some of the riotous activities and these protests that aren't peaceful and how people are actually doing things on the streets. And it's like, maybe ixnay on the cameras, eh? That kind of thing. They talk like Canadians. Anyway, so they're like, yeah, we need more accountability. We've got to have an internal watchdog keeping an eye on them. Well, the internal watchdog has been forced to pause a significant chunk of its oversight because there's no funding. Because the Democrats continue to withhold the support for funding. Apparently that most of its audits and inspections have had to pause during the partial government shutdown, including many dealing with ICE. So they wanted stricter oversight of ICE, but because the funding's not there, it's like they're not going to be no oversight. So they wanted more oversight. And now they're going to get less oversight with the partial shutdown because that's what Democrats do. And what an embarrassment. And it couldn't have happened to a worse party. It's really no party. We shouldn't even call them a party. See, what else would we just call them? I mean, it's really not when you think of a party, it's like fun. Like, there's maybe streamers and some adult beverages and the hot dogs, the little mini hot dogs, right? Those things are awesome.
Yeah, we'll call them a club.
Yeah, the club. Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, so let's get to some Florida news, shall we? Anytime you want to listen to the program After Hours, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get it. And anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff today, a lot of Florida stories. I don't know if you heard about this, but Palantir Technologies, it's a data analytics company. And they got a lot of government contracts. They do a lot of AI software, big tech company, right? They've moved their headquarters from Miami to, from Denver to Miami. And they announced this yesterday. So your first reaction is, yeah, everybody wants to be in the state of Florida. Of course they want to be here. And Miami is becoming quite the tech hub. Kind of like the Wall Street South. I mean, there's no doubt. People love Florida. The relocation marks the latest shift from Palantir, which left Silicon Valley for Colorado, and then they're like, yeah, we don't want to be here either, and now they've made their way to South Florida. And that's a huge deal. A lot of tech companies are leaving these high tax states for Florida's no income tax environment and the great climate, and me and D, because we're here. Is it D and I or me and D? Me and D, because we're here. Was that right? Did I say that properly?
It would be D and I, because you would say I am here, not me and him.
All right, enough. By the way, for those that don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, thank you. And D is the keeper of all things linguistic. He's like he's the grammar. I don't want to use the word, but he's that grammar guy. He's the grammar guy. It's like the minute I say something and it's like it's whispering in my ears. Like, all right. Well, is it about the low tax environment? Could be, but it could be something else. I like the idea of a something else, especially when I see this news report. So the mayor of Colorado, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just said the mayor of Colorado. Back up. The governor of Colorado and the mayor of Denver. Whew. Is it Wednesday yet? They weren't prepared for this move. Jared Polis was like, we have to have a talk with the folks from Palantir. I don't understand what's happening here. Here's the news report on this. Check this out.
What I would be looking to is, does it affect any jobs here in Colorado? It's not clear whether a headquarters move would or wouldn't affect that.
Neither Democratic Governor Jared Polis nor Denver Mayor Mike Johnston received advance notice.
They didn't let him know. They just left.
Polis believes more than 500 employees are based in Colorado.
I have requested a meeting with executives at the company to see if we can learn more.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm just, they're trying to find out more of what happened here. We're going to get to the what happened here in just a second, because I think it's less of the sunshine and low tax environment, and it's something else. Let's just put it this way. It's a Democrat state. You'll see where I'm going in just a second. But he was talking about the 500 employees that are there. I don't know, D. You got the choice of living in Colorado, in Denver, and you're being asked in February, or you can move to Miami. I'm just asking. If you had a choice, I know there's some people that like Denver. I get it. But listen to this.
According to Palantir's annual investor filing today, the company more than tripled its annual revenue to $1.6 billion.
Wow, all right. They're doing pretty well, huh?
The investor filing perhaps hints to a reason for the move. It mentions Colorado's AI bill from 2024.
An AI bill? What about the AI bill? Oh, I know. It's Colorado's way of inviting tech in and helping them out as much as possible because they understand the need for tech and AI software and other things in the future.
The law requires businesses using AI to protect against algorithmic discrimination.
Hey, D, what's algorithmic discrimination?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I don't know.
And notify consumers when AI makes decisions affecting employment, finance, or healthcare.
So AI is making decisions based on employment. What did they say? Making decisions based on, listen.
Decisions affecting employment, finance, or healthcare.
Okay. Employment, finance, or healthcare. So AI is making the decision, but we have to make sure they're not discriminating. Excuse me?
Palantir writes, compliance with such obligations may be difficult, onerous, and costly, and could adversely affect our business.
Yeah, maybe it's that, D. I'm just saying. So Denver and Colorado and the governor and the Democrats decided that, you know what? We're going to sign this bill in 2024, the algorithmic discrimination bill. And what happens is that all of these AI tech companies are going to have to figure out how they can create algorithms that aren't going to discriminate. You know, when it comes to healthcare and jobs and the like. And the owners of the company are like, wait a second. First of all, what are you talking about? And second of all, do you know how hard that's going to be? Almost impossible. And how costly it's going to be? Almost not cost effective. Hey, how's Miami? Exactly. So maybe it was less about the sunshine and the low tax environment we have here, although that's part of it. I wonder if the other part of it was, hey, you know, Florida's going to let us do our thing as well. And not put these crazy, woke, nutty Democrat, is there any other kind, ideas out there to make it harder for us. It's like a regulation. Yeah, that's what it is. And so good for us here in the state of Florida. And of course, that's great governance and a really good legislature that gets it and is helping to allow businesses to thrive here in the state. And more people want to be part of the thrive thing as opposed to what, you know, the leftist states do. All right, what else we got going on? Yeah, coming up in a little bit, I do want to talk more about this story out of the Tampa Bay Times. Florida push to protect consumers against data centers hits a snag. You know, the data center issue is an interesting one to me because there are a lot of people in the state of Florida who are pushing back against data centers. There are people who want some kind of protection here in the state legislatively against what data centers could possibly be doing. But as I've talked about before, and how we have to open up this discussion about data centers, and we kind of need to feel both sides, like what it is and what it isn't, and how good it could be and how bad it could be. Because data centers they're in existence now. They exist across the country. I understand there are people in certain areas of the state that do not want a data center in their vicinity. Sometimes I get it, but you do realize if you like your Netflix, you like streaming it, a data center is helping to make that happen. Hey, you like shopping on Amazon? Yeah, there's a data center that's making that happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be these behemoth AI, I don't want this in my neighborhood type thing. There also could be great benefit to the community if you do it right. And I know there are people that are screaming right now at their radio, and I get it. They get upset about when they hear data centers in Florida. But let's, weigh pros and cons, and then there's always an answer to the questions that you might have on it, I feel like. And then, you decide in the community, you decide in the state what ultimately we want to do. So maybe coming up in a little bit, we'll talk about that and what's going on. I know in the story, Florida House Speaker Daniel Perez says he's skeptical of the state wading into the issue, echoing the president's thoughts on this. So maybe we'll get to that and more coming up. We got a busy day ahead, so buckle up, Buttercup, as my wife likes to say. Top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom coming up and more. My name is Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops builds specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to check out the program live, you can always go, if you're not listening to one of our great affiliates across the state of Florida, you can go to my website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. Up at the top there is a little play button, and you can listen while we were on live and then 24/7. Just wanted to mention that. Top of the news right now from the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines. Now.
Anita Padilla is there, and she's got the latest for us. Let's find out what's up. What's up?
Hey there, Drew. A Republican-led push to rename Palm Beach International Airport after President Donald Trump is moving forward in Tallahassee. I'll have details on that in just a moment. But first, let's get right to this public feud heating up in Tallahassee. This is between State Rep Alex Andrade and Attorney General James Uthmeier. Andrade questioning whether Uthmeier is using state or private aircraft for travel related to his part-time teaching job at the University of Florida. A source tells Florida's Voice that there is no state-funded plane being used. Uthmeier's office is pushing back, too, pointing out that while Andrade is on the House Committee for Health and Human Services, the law firm he's connected to is representing Planned Parenthood. The back and forth comes amid broader tensions between the two over Medicaid funding, committee roles, and of course, as I mentioned, that lawsuit involving Planned Parenthood. Well, the Florida House has voted to eliminate most local business taxes, saying that this move will cut the red tape for small business owners. Supporters are arguing that businesses shouldn't have to pay a fee just for the privilege of operating in a city or a county. This bill would end most of those local tax receipts, though some exceptions would remain for economic development and gross receipt structures. Now, critics are warning that cities may have to raise property taxes or cut services to make up for the lost revenue. And a push to rename Palm Beach International Airport after President Donald Trump is moving forward in Tallahassee. The Florida House approved a bill that shifts the airport naming authority from local governments to the state, clearing the way for the new name. A key Senate committee also advanced its version too, sending it to the full chamber. Democrats did try to block any potential royalties tied to Trump's name, but that amendment failed. If both chambers agree, the proposal then heads to the governor. All right, that's it for now. I'll be back in our next hour with more news and keep you updated on all that's going on in the world of politics here in Florida. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, AP, in the Florida's Voice newsroom. And anytime you want to check out the stories, see what they're working on, you just go to flvoicenews.com. That's the website, Florida's Voice. It's all right there. So I saw this. Wanted to play a little bit of this, 45 seconds long. So I guess a comedian, Jamie Kennedy. Dee, do you remember Jamie Kennedy? I think he was like an MTV.
Not ringing a bell.
I think it was an MTV guy. I don't know. Somehow I seem to remember him being an MTV comedian. Like he was on there all the time, and then it like launched his career into some. I don't know, but anyway. So he's on a podcast with Ozzy Osbourne's son, and I forget his name, but it's them together on a podcast. I mean, he was a guest on Ozzy Osbourne's son's podcast. And they're talking about ICE and the anti-ICE narrative that's out there. And people were like, well, this seems like a pretty interesting clip from Hollywood and talking about ICE and the narrative that's out there and cutting right to the chase. I don't know if, what's his name? The Osborne kid was ready for this answer from the comedian.
The ICE thing is, it's always going to be a hot button subject no matter what.
No. Well, first of all, no, it's not. But anyway, here we go.
It's really simple, though. Do you believe that there were millions of people that came into this country illegally? Yeah. Okay. Do you believe that within that there's a lot of criminals? Absolutely. Do you believe that what ICE is doing, there's a lot of deportating of a lot of bad criminals? Yeah. Do you believe that that's not getting the press? 100%. Okay. So do you believe that if you just let people do their job, we would still probably not have 2 deaths? Yeah. So it's like
it's like, so there's the comedian. It's like, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. So that was like one of those moments where you were like, yeah, how about that? Like, you like apples? How about them apples? That kind of thing. It was comedian Jamie Kennedy, who was like, he had more. Maybe later on we'll play more of that. So I just thought that was interesting. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey is joining us right now on Florida's Voice. Always great to have him on the program. First of all, good to see you, sir. How's everything?
Everything's great, Drew. You doing well?
Yeah, I'm well. Especially when I hear like comedians and actors and people that I would expect in that kind of conversation on a podcast where you were like, oh boy, where is this going? And all of a sudden it's like, well, that sounds like common sense. It was almost like the Osborne kid was like, yeah, I guess you're right. What are we doing? And it was like, where else do you go from there? You know?
Yeah, it's exactly what I was going to say. Is what you just saw was a classic example and display of common sense at work. And you can't argue with common sense. You can't argue with logic. And so there was nothing left to say. It was made pretty evident that when you look at what ICE is doing for our country, They're protecting our borders. They're protecting those that have illegally crossed our borders. And common sense tells you that's what you want. You want as a nation to feel safe. People want to feel safe in their homes. They want to feel safe in their country as well.
Yeah, and the cooperation with the 287G program and officers cooperating is so important. I've heard there's been even more cooperation than people thought was going on. I mean, obviously there's always a lot, but more and more we're starting to see the cooperation and the getting of those criminal illegals out of here. What's been going on?
Yeah, so, if you look just at the state of Florida, all 67 counties in the state of Florida, their sheriff's offices are signed up under 287G. There's 10 county jails that are ran by the county themselves, not the sheriff. They're all signed up for 287G participation. And you're seeing Florida, once again, lead the way. Governor DeSantis has done a great job in getting the tools, the resources that we need to be able to do that. And you see Florida leading the way in partnerships. You see Florida working with local, state, and federal agencies to accomplish the overall mission. And it's not rocket science. I'm here on the Space Coast where rocket science actually exists, but it's not that difficult. It's simply go out, enforce the laws of the state, enforce the laws of the country, in this case when we're talking about ICE, and get the job done, protect the citizens. But, man, for whatever reason, people feel like they need to make it more difficult. You're watching what's happening around other parts of the country where they're violently protesting. They're engaging themselves in arrest scenarios where ICE is trying to do their jobs. And listen, you step off the ledge into a bad situation, bad things happen.
Yeah, that's right. Funny, before we move on, talking about safety, I'm on a plane coming back from D.C. I've got a couple sitting next to me, and we're talking about the state and living here in the state. I'm living in Southwest Florida, right? And they're talking about possibly moving down here, and it's like, like first reaction, Florida, it's like safe, safe, boom. It's like, okay, well there you go. That's the first thing. Then the rest of the good things with the taxes, affordability, and the like, and all of these different things go on. But boom, the first thing is safety.
I promise you, if you put 100 people in a room from all different walks of life and ask them what's really important to you, it won't be any of that crap you see on the fake news. It'll be being safe, good educational opportunities for our children, good housing, good business opportunities, recreation, and pets. That's all people care about. They want to live their lives happily and peacefully and safe.
Yeah, no doubt. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey is joining us on Florida's Voice. Speaking of safe, I wanted to ask you about this, if you don't mind, the Rhode Island hockey arena shooting. And, I see something like that. And, my first reaction is obviously how horrible it is, horrific to hear about. And then you start to think about in these public spaces, how to keep them safe. What do you do? I mean, do you have any thoughts on what took place there?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, what a tragedy that occurred there. And obviously this was a pointed target where they were going after certain people, but other people get caught up in that fray. The other part of that is there's also other people that can stop the carnage that's happening, stop the shooter if they're prepared. And the first step of being prepared is to be armed, being able to protect yourself. Look, when 911 is called, we're coming Mach 2 with our hair on fire. But you're right there. And while response times may be in minutes for law enforcement, a violent criminal will take your life in a second. So you got to be prepared to defend you, your family, those around you in church, those around you at the hockey game is what it really boils down to.
Yeah, and I might say this too. You also have to be in a place, in an environment, in a state that understands that, wants to protect your Second Amendment right, wants you to know that you are the best first responder, quite honestly, when it comes to a situation like this. For the point you just make, there's always going to be a certain amount of time for you to get from A to B. But if somebody's already there at A, they have the opportunity to neutralize the threat.
Yeah, and in Brevard County, we want our citizens to be prepared to be that first line of defense that you spoke of. In fact, I always tell everybody, if you're in Brevard County and you're a good person, you don't have a gun, we issue you one so that you can help us protect this place, because we want our citizens to be able to protect them, their families, those that might be in the middle of that carnage when it's happening.
Yeah. And before we go, by the way, Governor was in town, right? The other day, wasn't he?
Yep, he was talking about the workforce, the trade schools.
Yeah, the workforce education. Yeah,
everything that our high schools are doing to prepare those to go out and be involved in the tech industry, be involved in whatever it is that the schools are preparing them for. And it was really a cool backdrop when you looked at all the robotics that were behind him. Titusville High School has a great program there, and it was really interesting to hear the numbers, the dynamics of the accomplishments. Originally his goal was to achieve those numbers in 2030, and here they were getting ahead of it and doing a great job at it.
Yeah, no, good stuff. I think it was Titusville High School. Is that where that was?
Yeah, Titusville High School, the Titusville Terriers here in Brevard County.
The Terriers, come on, Terriers! All right, love it. All right, Sheriff, always great to see you. All the best. God bless. We'll speak soon. Okay.
All right, bud. See you later.
All right, there he goes. That is Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey joining us on Florida's Voice. All right, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. Oh boy, we got so many things to talk about. Yeah, we want to revisit this whole Colbert thing. I think the sad aspect of what Stephen Colbert did, and for those that don't know, tried to blame Trump and the FCC for not being able to air a segment with a candidate for Senate, Democrat, of course, out of Texas, when it had nothing to do with the Trump administration or the FCC, but it was CBS who put the shutdown on that because of FCC rules that have been around forever about equal time for candidates. If you're in election season, you need to make time. And the funny part is it's Jasmine Crockett who was the one that was denied the time. So you would imagine that Jasmine Crockett might have something to say about it. And she did. And it was an interesting pivot that she had. But the equal time rule is something that's been around forever. And Colbert was trying to make this ridiculous case that, it's just him. Never happened to anybody else. It's funny how that works. It's got to be Trump. No. That's your TDS talking. That's what that is. D, if you had a can of TDS and you're with your buddy and all of a sudden he cracks it open and starts to consume that can of TDS, and then you start saying things like, it was Trump that made me not have this Democrat Senate candidate on the... That's the TDS talking. That's the TDS talk, because that's not what went down. See what I did there? That was actually that was one of my best analogies yet, wasn't it?
That was very in-depth.
Wow, that was good. I gotta remember that one. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, okay, right. We gotta go to break. So, there's a couple of clips I want to play on this. Look, it's just Democrats democrating about going after Trump and Republicans. And just have to know it when you see it.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. you get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little are you, sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Oh, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Dad.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? You're looking for countertops, backsplash? You know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You're going to see something real cool, okay? I need you to go to that box over there, and then you're going to turn it around.
This one? Yeah, no, this one right here. Here? Yep. Yeah, now look at the back of the box.
Turn it around.
Who's on the box? Who's that on the box?
Hey, Dee, I always wondered about this, and if you're wondering what that clip was, so you got a little boy who's with his parents, and they hand him this toy box, like a box with a toy in it. And they're like, hey, buddy, check out the box. And they're looking at the box, and they're like, turn over the box. And apparently, the kid was like, woo, look at that. It's himself on the box because he was doing a photo shoot for the company for like a year. And he's on the box of this toy. And that was him seeing himself on the box for the first time when his parents took him to the store toy aisle. First of all,
that's pretty awesome.
First of all, yeah, how cool is that? That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, have you ever wondered about that? Like all throughout the years and years and decades and centuries, maybe not centuries, but yeah, kind of. Like products with people's image on it and what their reaction is. Because there have been so many. Like, you know, do they carry like a box into a party and, you know, they're looking to date somebody and you're like, what's your name? My name is Drew. Oh, hi, Drew. How are you? You may have recognized me. This is me on the box. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's a good way to meet people. I don't know.
Well, the stuck-up ones do that.
Okay. Maybe you should have used a different name. My name is Derek. Sorry. That's not nice.
That might work now.
No, okay. And then the other thing
I'm actually on a few items.
Are you?
Not toys.
Wait a minute. Your image, your picture has been used on products before?
Yes.
Shut the front door. Tell me more. Hold on. This is news to me. I didn't, hold on. I need some news
like
music.
Magazine flyers and things, not toys.
Okay. What's a magazine flyer? Like
brochures and ads.
All right. So like it's you on a tropical beach or something promoting Guam? Like what does that mean?
I'll send you some offline and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay, good. Wow. All right. Here I am kind of having some fun with this topic and you were one of those people. So I could have just asked you, what's it like? So did you go to a like a magazine rack and flip through and like, whoo, there I am. Like in the middle of like Men's Health or something like that. Did you do that?
No, nothing that big.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's cool. I like that. I always talk about, I haven't talked about it in a while. The first time I heard my song on the radio for the first time, I had a small minor top 20 hit back in the day. And the first time I heard it on the radio and I was like, this might be the coolest thing ever. Of course, I'm alone in the car. Nobody else is around listening at the time, but it's a very cool thing. All right. What else do we have going on here at Florida's Voice? All right. Yeah, I was going to play this. I don't know if I have enough time now to play this Colbert clip. It's just not worth wasting a whole lot of time on, but just know that he said some things in his reaction. I guess I'll wait and play it. Talking about he wasn't actually barred from broadcasting the James Tellerico video that he put up on YouTube and made a big stink and, Trump and FCC. It's like, okay. But there was something else that he said that I wish I had enough time to play because he started to talk about how, let me see if I can play some of this.
One example of this rule being enforced for any talk show interview, not only for my entire late night career, but for anyone's late night career.
Yeah, maybe because late night hosts didn't do what you all are doing now, and you thinking you're a news organization, which is part of the FCC rule, and you're not. And there's just a whole lot to that nonsense.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned, rebuilding communities after disaster strikes, and adapting to support today's veterans, meeting them where they are. The VFW, still leading, still advancing, still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D on the other side of the glass, and news in the breaking newsroom. If you want to watch, at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. If you want to listen live, if you're not listening to one of our great affiliates across the state of Florida, you can go to my website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. There's a play button at the top of the website, and it works just like an app, and it's an ugly website, I already know. Or you could even listen after hours, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get that thing. It's pretty simple. Some things are simple, some things are not. It's an interesting thing that we have going on in this world where there are people who continuously want to harm our kids, harm our communities, harm our families with the drugs and drug trafficking that is going on. And I know that among other things, that's the great work that is going on with Florida's Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson, of course, with a lot of what's going on with agriculture and the like. There's also the ag law team doing really difficult work as well. So there's a story on that, plus other things we will talk to Wilton Simpson about right now, who's joining us on Florida's Voice. Always appreciate the Commissioner of Agriculture joining us as he's busily moving about the state. I don't know where he is, but I know he's busy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Drew, and I just happened to be in Tallahassee. I was there all day yesterday and again today, so now we're heading back south, and but we have been, as you can tell, as you know, we've been blanketing the state and really got a lot going on now with with all the trouble we had from the winter storm, and I don't want anybody to forget that agriculture took a major hit from the winter storm that we just had, the 3 days of freeze, and we're working with our federal partners on getting that taken care of. But we've got a lot going on in Florida. I'm very proud of our resilient farmers and the work they do every day to make the most safe, affordable, abundant food anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that one more time before we move on to other topics. Is we talked about it last week, the devastation. I didn't realize how bad it was until you were mentioning it last week. I think you said blueberries were hit especially hard in some places, and obviously what our agriculture means to the country and how important it is that we continue to sustain it.
Absolutely. Well, during the winter time, Florida is the breadbasket to the country. And what I mean by that is 70 to 80% of all of the fresh vegetables sold on the eastern seaboard of the United States comes out of Florida every winter. Of course, we're about mid-crop on a lot of these. We're about mid-crop on a lot of these different varieties. And then we took this freeze that really hurt a lot of farmers. And again, we're working with our federal partners to try to bring in real-time relief. And farmers are resilient, but it's something that we need to remember. This was as bad as having any type of hurricane you could have possibly had for your farming community. And of course, as everyone listening knows, in the last 4 years, we've had 3 or 4 major hurricanes hit the state. So it's been one devastation after the next. And unfortunately, this freeze will pay a heavy price in the agriculture community for that.
Yeah, we'll continue to talk and keep an eye on what is happening at the federal level because it's important that we support our agriculture community here in the state and our farmers. Let me ask you about this, sir. The ag law team working hard as well. I was mentioning this. Talk about what's been going on lately.
Ag law does an amazing, I don't talk about them probably enough. We are the northern border security of the state of Florida. We're currently building a new interdiction station, first one in probably 40 years, at 231, a major arterial road coming in from Alabama. When we bring food into the state of Florida, when we bring these large trucking firms come into Florida with goods and services, they all stop at our interdiction stations. Animals come through, any type of food products, we check them at those interdiction stations to make sure they're not bringing invasive species in, making sure there's not human trafficking going on, drugs, and generally how I describe it is drugs, bugs, and thugs. And so Ag Law has done an amazing job. Just recently, they had a major bust of cannabis, 671 pounds, a load of citrus that was coming in from California into Florida. And when we investigated the load, there was many duffel bag fulls of marijuana. And of course, it's a felony here. And we arrested that gentleman and gave him over to the DEA. But we are every day, on a monthly basis, your agriculture law is making dozens of arrests because we are the front lines. We're out here on retail theft. We're fuel theft. We've busted up major rings in the last several months, but over the last 3 years. And so we're proud of the work that Ag Law is doing. And what we are, Drew, is we're a force multiplier for the rest of the state. When we're getting the bad guys coming into the state, it prevents them from getting into the state and then doing their crimes in other local jurisdictions. And so we're very proud of the relationships we have with all the sheriffs in this state, all local law enforcement. We work very well with the federal law enforcement agencies. We're all 287G qualified and trained. And so our Ag Law does an amazing job keeping Florida safe. And clearly we're trying to make sure that we can protect our food supply and agriculture here in the state of Florida. They've really done a tremendous job with those things.
Yeah. Florida's Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson is joining us on Florida's Voice. And hey, before we go, I know that there was a lot of talk about recently about what's been happening with the wildlife corridor and the importance of it. And I believe that there was a conversation going on recently with you talking about the passage of the Wildlife Corridor Act, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
I love to talk about it, Drew. There was actually last night the Wildlife Corridor Foundation had a meeting in Tallahassee with many stakeholders. If you'll remember, I love to talk about this. When I was Senate President, it was one of the top priorities I had to do was define the Wildlife Corridor in state statute. One of the things I'm very proud of with the Wildlife Corridor, and that represents 18 million acres here in the state of Florida, is that now they're referencing it in bills when we're saying the Wildlife Corridor is going to be protected or exempt or things of that nature to make sure that we can make sure that the state laws are not encroaching upon that Wildlife Corridor. So it's something that the legislatures in the last few years taken very serious. But I spoke there last night and just talked about in 5 years, we've saved nearly 500,000 acres between the DEP and the Department of Agriculture from development in perpetuity. And I know all the development going on in the state of Florida, and we don't like it, the pace that it's going at, and 400,000 people a year move to the state of Florida. And so we need to protect that wildlife corridor. We need to continue to adding investment in there. When I was Senate President, I jump-started the program with $300 million. I believe when I get the appropriation this year, we're working very close with the legislature. They've been very gracious to us. I believe in my first term here as your Commissioner of Agriculture, we will have received over $1 billion of funding. And I bring that up because in the first 20 years of the program, there was only $100 million spent on the program. And now we have a clear vision, and we need to protect that wildlife corridor. We need to protect agriculture in the state of Florida. And this is the most efficient tool to do that, which is the rural and family lands.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good stuff going on. All right, so we're ready to jump. But listen, always great to hear from you. All the best. God bless. Be safe, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you, Drew. God bless.
All right, we'll see you soon. That's Wilton Simpson, Florida's Agriculture Commissioner. Always appreciate some time with him. Anytime you want to check out the program at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, I guess this is... See, if I bring this up, that means Biff has to get paid. So it's kind of a woke news story of the day. All right, that's fine.
This is Woke News Today.
That's okay.
With your host, Drew Steele.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Biff. Just understand that the clips that I am about to play are not about anything more than political grandstanding, political positioning, and that it's 2026. We're getting closer to the midterms, and Democrats are trying to stake their position on what they will present to the electorate as far as their priorities are concerned. We know where we've been. We know what we've been doing up to this point. We know we have a president of the United States that is working hard to reverse a lot of what that guy did. Reversing a lot of the crazy EPA regulations, securing the border, the importance of making sure that we have a situation in this country where the economy is growing, opportunity is there. There's so many good things that are going on. But this is where the Democrats come in. You're not going to fight them on this. I'm saying the Republicans, you're not going to be able to fight them on the good things that are going on from this administration. So politically, 2026, what's your pivot?
We're going to fight every single day to put trans rights into the law of our country, because trans rights are human rights, and that's why my colleagues and I have laid out a simple yet powerful truth in the Trans Bill of Rights.
I'm sorry. Talking about a trans Bill of Rights, and then he talks about truth. Sorry. That's funny. It kind of is. I mean, it's all right.
Trans people have the right to live free from discrimination. Trans people have the right to live free from violence. And trans people have the right to live free from government intrusion into their bodies and into their lives.
Into their bodies and into their lives. Now, when you hear that, the first common sense natural reaction is, we have laws on the books for all of these things, and yet there are some people that don't follow your laws, your rules, your books. They don't. They break the laws. So this is political posturing for 2026 and staking their position. And oh, by the way, Senator Markey, who's got the last portion of this, that clip that I just played. Let me just play this.
To live free from violence. And trans people have the right to live free from government intrusion into their bodies and into their lives.
So in other words, the Democrats want to stake their claim for 26 that the American people want a trans Bill of Rights and the mutilation of perfectly healthy body parts of children. Is that where we're going with this? Is that where you want to stake your claim?
Our resolution affirms the right to gender-affirming health care.
Yep, I guess it does, because there it is. I was just thinking out loud that I wonder if that's what they're talking about. And then he says it right there. It's not gender-affirming care. Sorry, just like abortion is killing babies, gender-affirming care is the removal of perfectly healthy body parts. Just trying to be honest here.
The right to accurate identity documents.
The right to accurate... Okay, so you are who you say you are, and you better put who you say you are on that document. I guess regardless of what you say you are. I mean, is there like a movement in that, or is there...
The right to fully participate in school, in work.
Fully participate in school and work? Are there people that are not able to fully participate in school? Oh, I get what it is that they're trying to. Okay.
And in public life, just like anyone else.
Okay. You do see what's happening here. Again, there is the micro and the macro. There's the getting into the weeds, the tiny, intricate parts of this, which is the debate and discussion that we've had for way too long about all of this. And Democrats, their position and then talking specifically about whether or not we can have a conversation about this, because Democrats love to have conversations about things. But if we're going to get deep into the conversation about this, no, because you're every istanobia in the book. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe. I don't know. There's a ton of them. They just keep throwing them at you. You got to keep, it's like you got to duck them. And then there's the macro, the big picture. I'm not getting into the weeds on how you feel about it. I think it's the most important part of this. I think Congresswoman Jayapal was also there. And let me see if I have her comments. I think somewhere I have that where she made mention of that as well. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what she had to say. She says...
to trans people everywhere, I also want you to know this. Those people are threatened by your strength.
No, that's not that's not what's going on here. It's
by your joy in being fully who you are. Those who fight against trans people are just jealous of the freedom that they have taken to be fully who they are.
What is a woman? Yeah, are we going to get... No, we can't. Okay, so that's a little more of the micro. Just understand what the macro is. The big picture. Democrats have to find something, anything, that's going to be the next thing. They've already moved on from ICE. The anti-ICE protests and the kids getting out of school and all. They've moved on from that. The next thing has to come. What's the next thing that's going to mobilize people in their eyes to the polls? What is it? What's going to motivate and move the left to the polls? Because Democrats can't win if they're not showing up. Same thing with Republicans, but certainly for Democrats, they've got to show up and they need to mobilize groups. They need to mobilize people. Probably we're going to get back into this discussion again. You were defeated in 2024 based on how much you were leaning into this. And the American people said, yeah, no, enough. The tuck onesies at Target. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough for us. We're not doing it. So there's too much there now to go with. They believe that this is going to be the next thing that's going to mobilize people. That's all this is about. They can't mobilize everybody on the economy. They can't mobilize everybody on what they know is going to be happening very, very soon when people get the tax relief and it's real. It's in their pockets. It's in their hands. It's like, hey, we heard about this. And it's like, hold on a second. The no tax on tip thing is real. Like, this is legit. Like, all of these different things that are going to come through that are going to be happening. And then in quarter 3, quarter 2, and quarter 3, how we're going to see even more numbers, really excellent numbers coming up. They can't go there. They're going to have to figure out what else they're going to do. And it's all about the culture wars. It's all about this issue and trying to mobilize people. But yeah, so that's out there today. And what? Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is Woke News Today.
All right.
With your host, Drew Steele.
Look at Biff gets double pay today. How about that? All right, some more Florida stories I just wanted to mention. Look, Florida push to protect consumers against data centers hits a snag. Florida House Speaker Daniel Perez says he's skeptical of the state wading into the issue. Last year, the governor announced that Florida, this is from the Tampa Bay Times, announced that Florida would not let big tech companies operate unchecked, saying that the unregulated building of data centers threaten to replace human jobs, spew information, guzzle the state's electric and water resources, and drive up residents' power bills. And so now there have been bills out there to regulate data centers, and they're not really moving. A 60-day legislative session is scheduled to end March 13th, and as more time passes without a hearing, the chances of survival drop. Now, I just wanted to mention this because as we get closer to the end of session and certainly through the end of the year and heading into the 26 elections, the data center issue in the state is going to continue to be discussed. But we have to be honest about what it is and what it isn't, what it does and what it doesn't do. Vast facilities that store the computers behind artificial intelligence and other programs. The other programs are a very integral part of this story. Maybe you should describe more about what those other programs are. Because it's not just AI and AI software and the building of AI centers, but it's also about, you like Netflix, a data center brings that to you. You like shopping on Amazon, a data center brings that to you, among other things that are going on. Data centers have to exist and they've got to go someplace. Now, it would be nice if we would have Elon Musk put those data centers on the moon. That would be very cool.
Things are getting weird.
I know.
And they're getting weird fast.
They are. But maybe we'll get to that place. That would be awesome. But in the meantime, they've got to go someplace. Now, there are some who look at this and they think about the major footprint of a data center and what that means in the state of Florida. Where are we going to put it? Of course, it's going to go into a rural area. If it's something that's going to be, let's just say, the size of 10 or 20 football fields. So maybe 10 acres, 20 acres. Okay. If it's that big. And those are large, large data centers. Huge. Bigly. And the thing that we have to be concerned about with this, because there's going to be a crush of jobs starting right away. But then those jobs are going to disappear. All the HVAC jobs and electrician and the builders and everything else. It's going to be a huge crush. Tons of jobs. But then they're gone. Then you're only going to have about 50 to 100, maybe 200 people working in these data centers. They're going to be high-skilled jobs that are probably not going to be necessarily people in the state. They could be, but maybe not. And so it's not going to create local jobs, but there is a way to make it work. And I think maybe next hour we'll explore this a little more. But the power that's going to be needed can't be off the grid, and it can't be Florida taxpayers paying for it. There has to be some way to do this. And like I said, maybe next hour we'll explore it a little deeper, because I think there are some things some ideas that I have. Maybe I need to talk to somebody in Tallahassee. Hey, D, do we know anybody in Tallahassee?
One or two people.
Okay, maybe I need to talk to them. Top of the news is coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to check out the program live, 3 to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, you can go to my website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's right there. You can stream the show live and listen 24/7. And a reminder that we've got a brand new venture going on. It is called Right Line. It is your national voice. It is our weekend show across the country. National headlines, just like we do here. But Right Line is all about national headlines. We've got a fantastic weekend show. It streams Saturdays 9 to 11 a.m. on all your favorite social media sites. and on radio stations across the country. So if you live in Sheboygan, ask your local station if they're playing Right Line on the weekends. I don't know why I picked Sheboygan, D. It just it came to my mind.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's I just like saying it's Sheboygan. That's really all it is, and that's all I've got. So why don't we move on? It's top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. All right, Anita Padilla has the last of the headlines for the day. Let's find out what they're working on. What's up?
Hey there, Drew. There is a public feud underway in Tallahassee. I'll tell you who's clashing coming up in a moment. But first, let's get you updated on what's going on in Tallahassee. As you know, session's underway, and House lawmakers, boy, they have been really busy putting in the hard work. Well, so does the Senate. But let's talk about what the House did, because they are going to meet again tomorrow morning for another session. But this week, they have been very busy. So here's what they've been doing. Lawmakers approved changes to unemployment rules, and they passed a series of bipartisan measures on courts, conservation, and civic engagement after wrapping up their special order calendar. But also there were some takeaways from the hotly debated Republican-led effort to rename Palm Beach International Airport after President Donald Trump. That is advancing now. Members ended up approving that bill, which will shift the airport naming authority from local governments to the state. There is also a key Senate committee, by the way, also signing off on that. That measure now heads to the full Senate. If it passes, it does go to the governor. Also making news out of that meeting yesterday was a vote to phase out most local business taxes, saying that the move is going to cut costs and red tape for small business owners. Supporters are calling it a relief for job creators especially. But opponents, they're warning cities and counties they could end up facing budget shortfalls, and now they may have to raise the property taxes or cut services to make up the difference. So we'll see how that plays out. And now let's talk about that public feud heating up in Tallahassee. This is between State Rep Alex Andrade and the Attorney General James Othmeyer. Andrade now questioning whether the Attorney General is using state or private aircraft for traveling related to his part-time teaching gig at the University of Florida. But we've got a source that tells Florida's Voice that that's not true, that no state-funded plane is being used to transport him. In the meantime, Othmeyer's office is pushing back, pointing out that while Andrade is on the House Committee for Health and Human Services, the law firm he's connected to is representing Planned Parenthood in a lawsuit. All right, that's it for now at 4:35. Of course, we want to always keep you updated on our social media platforms. That's where you should go. Follow us on X, Instagram, and Facebook, and we'll keep you updated on all you need to know in the world of politics here in Florida and in Washington. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, AP, we appreciate you there in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories they're working on, you just go to flvoicenews.com. Easier for me to say than me. FLVoicenews.com. The website, Florida's Voice, you can see it right there. I know things are getting crazy. I mean, it's not like the Minneapolis City Council is attempting to delay and deny liquor license renewals to hotels that house ICE agents. I mean, that would be crazy if it was
breaking news.
A bombshell. Oh, come on! Are you serious right now? Yeah, they're serious right now.
A controversial issue today in a Minneapolis City Council committee hearing. Normally, a liquor license renewal is a rather mundane topic. Yeah. But today, 2 hotels, Canopy and the Depot, were targeted for allegedly housing ICE agents.
Yeah, that's still a thing. Yeah, they're still busy in Minneapolis. There's nothing else to do. They're quite bored. They must be super rich because they can cause all kinds of problems because they don't have to worry about anything else because they got all this money. I guess everybody that lives in Minneapolis, and so there you go. The city council attempting to delay and deny liquor license renewals to hotels because the possibility they might house ICE agents. I would imagine that this doesn't sit well with the American people and people with common sense. You know, there are some things that don't sit well with people with regard to some of the best of intentions on certain issues. Like I was talking to somebody the other day about capping credit card interest rates and this proposal to do this to help the American people And when you think of, how high interest rates can get with credit cards, you're like, oh, this sounds like a good idea. Well, not to everybody. David Ibsen joining us right now on Florida's Voice, Executive Director, Americans for Free Markets. It's good to have him back again. And it's an interesting subject and the one side versus the other on this. Good to see you again, David. How's everything?
Good, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it is a little crazy, this discussion about the interest rate cap proposal, because on the surface, there are people who love the idea. They think that this is something that's going to be good overall. But I think you and others have a little bit of a different take on this. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think you're right. I think whenever you have a policy proposal, you want to judge it by its outcomes, by its impact, and not necessarily by its intentions. And you said that it's well intended, but ultimately an interest rate cap is a price control. And price controls, we know from experience, never work, whether you're talking about apartments in New York City or gasoline lines. Ultimately leads to scarcity and leads to higher prices, and interest is the price of risk. So if lenders can't price risk appropriately, they'll take less risk and they'll pull back on the funds that they're lending. And ultimately, this is going to impact negatively the very people who it was intended to help, which usually happens whenever the government tries to intervene in the market to try and help one group, and then that group ends up suffering. But if you look at the studies, 100 million, 150 million Americans might lose access to credit cards. People with scores below 740, according to some sources, would lose access to credit cards. And so these are subprime borrowers, people with less credit history, small businesses, students, working families, people who rely on credit cards in their everyday lives, everyday work enterprises. These are the people who are going to be impacted by this proposal. And unfortunately, those people might have to then turn to less regulated sources of lending, more expensive sources of lending, payday lenders, loan sharks. So ultimately, despite its intentions, I think this is going to hurt the people that's intended to help.
Yeah, David, this is a point that that sometimes, it gets lost in the conversation, which is, look, it's the risk that's the important aspect of this, right? There's a reason why certain small businesses, young people, certain individuals are able to get that first credit card or that loan. It's because the bank has the opportunity to weigh the risk and then properly be able to apply that and make it available. If you take that away with a cap, it just seems like anything else. If you've got legal issues, let's just say, or regulations in a state like Florida where we get a lot of hurricanes, and you make it tougher for an insurance company to be in the state, then they don't want to be in the state. It's the same kind of concept.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. A credit card is basically an unsecured loan. And so if you ask someone on the street and say, hey, would you loan someone $10,000 with no collateral for only 10% interest in return, most people would say, no, yeah, you're crazy. So the element of the risk is what makes it worthwhile for the companies to engage in this type of activity. And, you nailed it with the students and other people who are starting out in business. I think it's something like half of all businesses rely on credit cards in their monthly operations, either to stretch over a period where there isn't enough revenue coming in, or to pay for inventory, or to pay for other different kinds of assets. And most of the homes in middle-class homes in America, they don't really have enough savings for 2 or 3 months of an emergency fund. So you need that credit, and you need the opportunities and the options for different kind of credit options in order to get through those times when you're might be struggling as a business or there's an unexpected expense. It really will have an impact on Main Street USA or Main Street Florida in this case. Credit cards drive a lot of business activity, and they're essential to the operation of enterprise. What we do need, maybe if you want to help people, is actually have less regulation, less caps, more optionality. There's something like 600 different credit card options that exist right now. There's a lot of credit cards that are offered that have 0% APR for 12 months, 18 months. This kind of variety, going back to what you said about interest, Drew, this optionality comes from the fact that the companies are able to price risk appropriately, and it gives more options to the American people.
Yeah.
Once you start restricting that, all of a sudden you have fewer options and people suffer.
Yeah, you. It's funny because you must have been reading my mind. Because the two things that came to mind as you were talking about this. The first thing was that if you're looking at the answer, like if somebody says, "All right, David, so what's the answer?" If you look to free markets and the marketplace, if you open it up, less regulation, and you do open it up, there will be companies that will take the risk. That it happens all the time. I mean, in life, that's part of how we all operate. There's someone out there that will look at you somehow, some way, and say, yeah, that person is worth the risk for A, B, and C. And so it opens up opportunities for other businesses to be created that would be in that space. If it's not there right now, the free market will make it available. And then obviously the second part is, this isn't about an accountability issue. This isn't like, people have to be accountable for their actions. And, in some instances it is, but what we're talking about is, a small business just getting started, a first-time creditor. It's a different situation, but I think the marketplace being open would afford for somebody to come into the space.
Yeah, and the more people that are in the market, then the more the consumers benefit, the more small business owners benefit, the more working families benefit. This is the exact wrong thing to do by implementing a price control, which we do know from experience, never works, and it's exactly what it is. More competition, less regulation. Hey, look, what if the banks had, to spend less time and money on compliance costs because of all the intrusive regulations that are imposed on them? What if they could, downsize a little bit of their compliance departments? That would free up more cash, so you'd have more options in the credit card space. Maybe some of those savings would actually go down to the consumers, the people who are supposed to be benefiting from this kind of government intervention. About 15 years ago, when the Congress capped fees on debit cards, it was supposed to create all of these savings for the American people, and the opposite happened. In fact, retailers raised their prices. People who used to enjoy free banking accounts, free checking accounts, those were eliminated. Benefits
Toasters.
were eliminated.
Who doesn't love a toaster? Toasters, blenders. I know that. Boy, I'm really dating myself, but yeah, that was the time.
Right. But I mean, your rewards, your benefits, rewards on groceries, rewards on gas, all that stuff goes to benefit, small business owners and working class people who we're told are supposed to benefit from this kind of government intervention. Sometimes people feel because they can do something, that being legislators and regulators, that they have to do something. And sometimes the legislative restraint is actually the greater virtue. And I think you've seen that in a place like Florida, where you have the free state of Florida, a booming economy, people are moving from other areas, blue states to the red states. You don't want to start changing that kind of idea that, just because we can start making regulations, that we have to do so.
Yeah. David, is there a place that people can go to find out more about Americans for Free Markets?
Yeah, please do go to forfreemarkets.com. We have all different kinds of resources about our mission and our work and our leadership.
All right, David. Great to see you again. All the best. God bless. We'll see you soon, okay?
Thanks, Drew.
All right, thanks. That's David Ibsen joining us on Florida's Voice. And yeah, look, the example that I look at when it comes to federal credit card interest rate caps is the first thing is the opening up of opportunities for others to fill the space if we were not to do it. And then the second part is obviously when you do what he is describing and you have that cap, there are going to be banks and people who won't be able to access the credit, kind of the same way that the regulations on insurance companies here had to be, and tort reform and the like had to be done in order for these insurance companies to come back to the great marketplace of Florida.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Yeah, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Dad.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? You're looking for countertops, backsplash? You know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Today, the President of the United States had a Black History Month reception at the White House, full room in the East Room. Big crowd, and there were a few people making remarks to the audience, and I'm sure the president going to take questions from the press as well. But during this Black History Month reception, the president gave the mic over to a few different people that were there. Felicia Cook, who lost her grandson to the violence there in D.C., had a pretty powerful message to everybody listening and watching and all the haters, if you will. So this is 2 minutes long, but yeah, I got to play all of it. This was like a wow. Here, let's see if we can play this here.
I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Wow. And Grandma said it. Yeah, so that was pretty powerful. Felicia Cook for the Black History Month reception that just took place a little while ago in the East Room of the White House. And let me just say this before we go to break. Lost her grandson to the violence in D.C. Seemed like nobody cared. Like she said, Democrats get mad at me, go ahead. Running the city, when you had someone in the White House that could have done what the president did, he didn't do anything. People in the district, and listen, across the country, where you have families broken up by violence like this and not being able to get answers. And like Felicia was doing, rallying neighbors together to try to figure out what happened and what can be done. And here comes President Trump. I can tell you from firsthand experience walking the streets of D.C. with the National Guard out there and how much different it is than it was in the past. Safer. And how emotional that is for her and so many other families. That was powerful. All right, let's take a break. Congressman Randy Fine scheduled to join us next.
Listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the breaking newsroom, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram anytime you want to watch. We do appreciate, sometimes when certain people, certain groups, maybe it's lefties, I don't know, when they get all hyped up about something, they get all upset or angry or mad or whatever the case may be, they always seem to miss the lead. And I just want to make sure we get the lead here on a story that we're going to talk about right now, because there are certain things that are going on in certain communist, Marxist, socialist, Democrat cities. Is there any other kind? When we talk about New York City, where Nardine Khosrowshahi basically is someone who is a big-time activist and somebody that the mayor of New York City decided was going to be put into a position in the cabinet or the government there, if you will, in New York City, a position of authority, who decided to say, and talking about what is going on in New York City, as she said, finally, her quote on, I guess, her X account, New York City is coming to Islam. Dogs definitely have a place in society, not as indoor pets. Like we've said all along, they are unclean. That's the lead. Now, many, many people were like, what are you talking about? There's a lot in that statement. It's not just the comment about dogs, but there's more there as well. So, Congressman Randy Fine has said some things that got some people upset. He wanted to comment on this, and he did. Congressman Randy Fine is joining us right now on Florida's Voice, so we could talk. Look at the dogs. Why did you do that just for me?
I didn't, but we did do it today. These are actually all pictures that are in my house. We have more of them. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be doing these interviews, I'm going to have a dog backdrop. But none of these were purchased for this. In fact, the dog right behind my head was my dog for many years.
There you go.
All right. All dogs.
Yeah. So on X, you said, quote, if they force us to choose, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one. To which, oh my, everybody has lost their mind over that. Forgetting the lead, though, as we can take it back to that for just a second. All right, your thoughts on what was said and the blowback, if you will, after what you put out there on X?
Well, if you told me in 2026 the Democratic Party would say loving your dog means you're a racist, I wouldn't have selected it, but that's where we are. Apparently, first we had to say anyone who wants to come here can come here illegally. If you complain, you're a racist. Then it's if they don't get all the free stuff they want, you're a racist. And now it's if you're not willing to get rid of your dog to make them happy, you're a racist. My point was very simple. If I have to choose, I don't want to choose, for the record. But if they make me choose, if people like this Mamdani advisor say, I don't want to live in a city where people have dogs, if you make me choose between my dog and you, I'm choosing my dog. You can leave. There are 57 countries in the world that are Sharia compliant. You can go live in one of them. America is not going to be number 58.
Yeah. And that, to me, is the lead also that's being missed in what she said and the comments about New York City coming to Islam. In the state of Florida, by the way, I'm looking at an article in the Orlando Sentinel not too long ago that I talked about where The headline is, there's no Sharia law in the state, but South Florida lawmakers are filing a bill to outlaw it anyway. That's called being proactive as opposed to reactive, because they sense that something is coming. And if you think that Sharia is compliant with the Constitution, you're missing the point.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They're saying the quiet part out loud. I think part of the reason my comment got so much traction is, as I talked to my colleagues about it, most of them didn't understand that Islam doesn't like dogs. They're like, who doesn't like dogs? And I'm not criticizing their religion. They're allowed to believe what they want. There are other religions that love certain animals, but in Islam, they think dogs are dirty, and that's not a unique view of this one person. That's what they believe. For example, in Morocco, they are right now going out and shooting 3 million dogs to get ready for the World Cup tournament. But they're hunting them, dogs, in the streets, shooting them. This is not unusual. And so I don't understand it. I mean, I said, if they make us choose, well, don't make us choose. If Muslims don't want to have dogs, that's perfectly fine. But they don't get to tell me I don't get to have one. And they certainly don't get to tell you in the United States of America that you don't get to have one. That shouldn't be controversial. The fact that it is tells you how far the Democratic Party has fallen.
Yeah.
We have to change how we live in order to make immigrants more comfortable here. That's not how it works.
But also the Sharia aspect of this is very important, and I don't want people to miss this, because we've heard about it in Texas. I've heard about it in Georgia. I've heard about it in different places now. I've heard it in South Florida, in concerns that people have about remembering that when you're talking about Sharia, and we're not talking about Sharia, someone who believes and has their faith and absolutely positively can and should, but then at the same time disagrees with our Constitution and our rule of law, and now wants to submit to their laws, not ours, Sharia being theirs. That is a problem that we have to speak to and address.
And it is a problem. I mean, look, if you watch videos from Muslim congregations, their own videos, not secret video cameras, videos of they've broadcast on Facebook themselves, many of them are very clear. They see their religion's objective to conquer, to convert everyone. That is in the Quran. They are not coming here to live alongside us. They are coming here to make us live like they do. That's not America. Your religious rights stop at my front door. And I think that's something that we have to make very, very clear. We are not interested in Florida becoming a Sharia state.
Yeah, and I think it's so important that we make sure, again, because you know how this works, Congressman. Everybody misses the lead because they hear something else and then they go chasing that, as opposed to what the story is. Yeah.
But it's intentional. It's intentional. It's intentional to try to force people to not complain. In New York right now, they're playing the Muslim call to prayer at 5 o'clock in the morning. That bothers people, but they don't want people to complain. They're trying to bully and silence people, because if they can get me to be quiet, then imagine what a regular person does. We are supposed to smile as we are conquered, and I will not be part of that.
Yeah. So do I get to choose which one of the dogs behind you was your dog? This might be tricky. I'm not sure. Just point to the one that is. It's right.
It's that one.
In the middle?
Yeah. Yep.
Beautiful. And that was, did somebody do that? Did somebody create that in the family, or you had a friend?
Someone in my family painted it. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Good stuff. All right, sir. Listen, great to speak with you. Glad we had a few minutes for you to join us here on Florida's Voice. It's always great to see you, and we'll speak again soon.
You.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Anytime.
All right. That's Congressman Randy Fine joining us here on Florida's Voice. And I wasn't gonna pick that. I was gonna pick a different dog. Is he still there? I thought it was the. No. Okay. Good. All right. Anyway, we got to jump. All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. A big story today. We talked about it when we opened the show. Look, the FBI Director Kash Patel understands that, everything that we've been talking about when it comes to the Antifa rioters, the protesters, the peaceful protesters, until you see buildings burning and people throwing different things at individuals and some of the violence. And you all know it. You see it all the time. Thank you, Elon Musk, for opening up X, for example, and having a free speech platform. This is a good thing. The FBI director doing a lot, including what he broke today on Dan Bongino's podcast, that there is a reckoning coming for the organization and the funding of these groups, the funding specifically.
We're going to look at the facts that exist. We're not going to try to make up facts that don't, so we can serve a political narrative. And wait till you, and I know you know this, but wait till you see what's coming in the next month or two on the funding streams related to this. You and I had launched a serious investigation. We had said these organizations don't operate alone, don't operate in silence. They operate with a heavy, heavy stream of funding. And we started looking into it, and guess what, Dan? We found him.
So that's Kash Patel, the FBI director, on Bongino's podcast today, who was saying, yep, we found them. We've got them. That there's been a major discovery in the funders of these Antifa terrorists, and a serious investigation that's going to happen. And very soon, in the next month or two, they're going to tell us all about who is funding Antifa, where these streams are coming from. And I said this earlier, and I'm serious about this. Wherever it leads, let's see where it's going. Let's see what exactly is happening here, and who is funding these groups. And they've got to be held to account. We have to know who they are. It's important. All right, some other things that are. I know it's a busy day. There's a lot of breaking news today. Okay, how about this? Now, we've been talking for the past... D, would you say we've had climate change talk, not just the beginning of the week? Did we talk about climate? I think we did last week, too. We were in Washington, D.C., and I think that the climate talk came up, D, because we were talking about the EPA and the rolling back of these regulations, Lee Zeldin, and we yesterday we talked about that as well. And the start-stop button was a big deal in rolling back the regulations on our vehicles. That I never heard anybody who's like, I love this thing when I take my foot on the brake and the car stops running. I think this is fantastic. Nobody ever said that. Well, maybe somebody did, but they're probably by themselves in the car. Probably even have a mask on. Oh, did I go there? I'm sorry. That's not a little, yeah, a little funny. So if you think that the climate change thing is ridiculous, you saw then the Green New Deal come into play, which has to do with climate change. And then you're like, wait a second, this is my money. This is tax dollars. This is destroying our economy. You've got countries like India and China that are like, are they really doing this? That's so fun. Okay, yeah, ramp up the coal. You bet. Filters? No, into the atmosphere. Bah. That's what China and India, that's what they're doing. While you're rushing to get all these green new deals going on, and thinking that here in the state of Florida, for example, it's the little things, and just think of the things that we can do here in the state and how we should be doing things, because we can expect. No, you can't. No, stop thinking that way. I mean, if you want to do little things to protect the planet, go right ahead, knock yourself out. But when it comes to these deals and regulations and what Democrats have been putting forward for the longest time, and we know what it destroys. Even Joe Biden knows what it destroys.
A three-letter word, jobs, Jobs.
Yeah, of course they can't spell it. But anyway, now we get to this. Bioethicist S. Matthew Lau. D, have you heard about this video? The artificially engineering of humans to fight climate change. You think I'm kidding? Nope. Oh, buckle up, Buttercup, because this is where we're going.
Climate change is one of the biggest problems that we face today.
No, it's really not. It's actually Democrats, if you want to be honest, but that's just me.
Millions could suffer hunger, diseases, coastal flooding, as a result of climate change.
It's not. No, a lot of that isn't true, and there's a lot of things that we can do to help us, said people. And I mean, if you're Barack Obama, he does the right thing. He doesn't buy a home like on the water, like in Martha's Vineyard, because that would be crazy. Why would you be all about climate change and human man-made climate change, and we got to do something to save the planet, and then buy a $14 million home on the water? That would be crazy. Moving on.
We may be beyond the point of no return.
Dude, does he listen to a lot of Al Gore? I mean, do you get the impression that that's his best Al Gore impersonation? Is that what he's trying to do? Because
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good. In a bad way.
Scientists believe that we have no choice but to consider geoengineering.
I don't care. I don't think that. Where are you going with this?
This is large-scale manipulation of the Earth, such as spraying sulfate aerosols into the ozone layer in order to increase the reflectivity of the planet.
Wait a minute. It gets worse.
But geoengineering is very, very risky.
Yeah.
We have never attempted these technologies on such a large scale.
Yeah, well, then let's not do that. D, he's saying we've never attempted these things on a large scale. So keep the scale. Don't even forget the scale. Don't look at the scale. It's like my wife says, stand on the scale. Don't look. Like that kind of thing.
So we could end up destroying the entire ozone layer. I want to consider a class of solutions that have never been considered before.
I don't like where this guy's going.
Human engineering.
No. I don't know. Yeah. The engineering part is fun because engineering, you build stuff. It's the human engineering I don't like because I'm sensing that's got to do with me and my body. What?
It involves the biomedical modification of human beings.
No, D. See, do you see where we're going here? We went from, hey, Al Gore's kind of funny. He's talking about in 20 years in 1997. In 20 years, Florida's going to be underwater and we're all going to be swimming around Miami and not literally in the ocean, but we're going to be on, on Ocean Avenue and then we're going to be swimming. Like that kind of thing. No. We're not doing that. It's come to this now. We need to start thinking about bioengineering human beings.
I'll give 4 examples.
Yeah.
Here's one.
Go.
18% of greenhouse gas emissions come from livestock farming. So if we eat less meat, we could significantly reduce our greenhouse gas emissions.
How are you going to make me eat less meat?
Now, some people would be willing to eat less meat, but they lack the willpower.
D, should I keep playing this? Because this dude's freaking me out, and he's on a TED Talk.
This guy may be worse than Al Gore.
Maybe worse than Al Gore? All right, here we go. Buckle up.
Human engineering could help. Just as some people are naturally intolerant to milk or crayfish, like myself, we could artificially induce mild intolerance to meat.
No. Oh, wait. There were people laughing in the background. He's a comedian. That's what it is. He's not real. He's not being for real about this. He's joking. He's not a comedian, everybody. He's not a comedian at all. People are clapping because they know where this is going. And they like the idea.
By stimulating our immune system against common bovine proteins. And in this way, we can create an aversion to eating eco-unfriendly food.
I'll tell you what, you do it. You go ahead and do that to you and your family. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch my wife, my son. Back away. Back away from the bioengineering, sir. So if you thought, everything's fine. We're going to be fine. It's not going to get out of hand. It's not going to get crazy when it comes to climate change and some of the things that people are suggesting that we do. Here comes bioethicist S. Matthew Lau suggesting that artificial engineering humans could be a good way to fight climate change. It could cause an aversion for us eating eco-unfriendly food like bovine. Now, I don't know what bovine means, but I know I like my cows. See what I did there, Dave? Like, that was a bovine joke. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, that's where we're at. So, do we have any happy stories today? Because that story kind of freaked me out a little bit. We have any Florida stories? What do we got going on here in the state of Florida? There's got to be some intro. Okay, so we started off the day with the House, the Florida House, talking about blocking state emergency funds for immigration enforcement. And the governor was like, "Yeah, I don't think we should be doing that. I don't like that idea, and we need to think about this and talk about this, right?" So when the governor was talking about this, and then others started bringing this up, don't like the way this sounds. Well, the House today was like, maybe not. So they've reversed their decision on that, and they're going to back down on this plan to block state emergency funds because the governor was defending the administration's use of emergency funds for immigration enforcement. Came the same day after the multi-billion-dollar emergency preparedness and response fund was set to expire, and a new amendment to the House proposal now allows for the fund to cover, quote, man-made and technological disasters. That definition will help to continue to fund illegal immigration operations, and that's the House Speaker, Danny Perez, confirming that would be the case. That follows a week of intra-party friction. I know what you're saying. It's like, wait a second. There's no intra-party friction going on. Republicans versus Republicans in Tallahassee. You haven't been there lately, have you? There's a little bit of that. It's a funny thing when you have supermajorities and there's a lot of Republicans and there's a lot of egos. And it's an interesting place. During which Attorney General James Uthmire labeled the original House plan to limit the fund to natural disasters as moronic. Well, I guess they put a little addendum in there, a little amendment to the proposal, and now they'll be able to do this, continue to fund, and make sure that we have operations that would go after illegals in the state to continue. I know. Crazy, right? Friction. What friction? Everything's fine. All right. Looking at the time, we got to hit the break. Top 5 audio clips of the day coming up. It's my top 5. Strata Air Conditioning and Heating understands that, look, every once in a while you got issues with your air conditioner, whether it is an AC tune-up that you need, or maybe you need a brand new unit. Reach out. STRADAAC.com. You ought to call Strata. License number CACO 43953. Top of the news and more.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape. but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops builds specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch the program at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram, and anytime you want to check out the program after hours, hold on a second. You can check out Florida's Voice, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get it. Just to let you know, D, our next guest, Jay Town, scheduled to join us. Got to get him on the hotline. So if you can get him to get to the hotline, that would be awesome. Okay. Top 5 audio clips of the day right now. There's so many. This is hard. There's a lot I'm leaving on the table. I'm going to do the best I can to get back to them, but it's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Drew's Top 5. Number 5.
It's fair to say, or is it not? Right now, the issues are in flux.
A judge here in downtown San Diego ruled that Rady Children's Hospital will need to continue offering their gender-affirming care at least through March 10th, with the exception of any major surgeries.
Are you being a little preemptive at this point?
I'm Dana Williams, a reporter with NBC here in San Diego. You may remember all of this came in mid-January.
It's too much. You got the headline. Yeah, it was a little more than I was expecting. Okay, so there's a judge who says that Rady's Children's Hospital there in San Diego has to continue gender-affirming care. In other words, the mutilation of perfectly healthy body parts from children. Children. Activist judges. Activizing or activating or however you want to put it. They just continue. So there you go. Matthew Brainer is a Democrat appointed Superior Court judge in California and saying they must continue. Can we do something about the judges that seem to believe that they can do some of these things that they shouldn't be doing and have the ability to do it? Does it say in the Constitution, for example, with the judges, they run the country? I didn't know that was a thing. It's not a thing.
Number 4.
You know, when I arrived at DC Water, this was an organization that looked very similar to our industry. It was predominantly, white male at the top, but this was a utility that's, more than 70% people of color work at this utility. And I really believe, and I still believe, and it has been fantastic. The outcomes have been fantastic. But the people at the top, the executives, the chiefs in that C-suite, they should look like the employees that they serve and that they work with. And the same thing with the community. And so my executive team, looks exactly like the community. It looks like the employees, the staff, be it people of color, women, men.
Okay. Are they qualified to do the job? Because that's really all I'm looking for right now. So in case you didn't know, 240 million plus gallons in 1 month have been flooding the Potomac. The largest sewage spill in U.S. history. Yeah, sewage. It's gross. And that's D.C. Water's manager, David Gaddis, who wanted to let people know that too many white men in charge there at the upper levels there. And the executives have to reflect the city and getting people in charge. All I'm saying is I just want to make sure, especially after a crisis that is happening in the Potomac as we speak, that the most qualified people are there and have been there. And that's what I want to know. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean,
Number 3.
We're going to fight every single day to put trans rights into the law of our country, because trans rights are human rights, and that's why my colleagues and I have laid out a simple yet powerful truth in the Trans Bill of Rights.
He said Trans Bill of Right and truth, the same sentence. That's pretty funny. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's Senator Markey, who I guess they're like, listen, I know 24, the election, and everybody was kind of tired of woke ideology and all the things that were going on here in the country. But everything's good now, and it's fixed. So we can get back to trans rights, the Trans Bill of Rights. so that we can continue to talk about this, to drive people to the polls on something, again, the culture wars that they continue to fight. Oh, and the mutilation of children's healthy body parts, which for some reason they continue to seem to be obsessed with having removed. I don't understand. Can we not do this? No.
Number 2.
Democrats all. It was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right? I will pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years, Ed, who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across the country who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yep, and so have I. Wow. That is the White House Press Secretary, Caroline Levitt, who she's amazing, and the fact that she has to put up with nonsense like this is unreal. So that's Ed O'Keefe. I think he's with CBS, but does it really matter? They're all the same bunch of lefties. When does the president believe he's been falsely called a racist? She just basically turned around and said, all right, you know what your job is, get on it. And it won't take very long for them to peruse the interwebs and find the examples. I'm just saying, it won't take long. Wow, what a question.
Number 1.
We're going to look at the facts that exist. We're not going to try to make up facts that don't so we can serve a political narrative. And wait till you, and I know you know this, but wait till you see what's coming in the next month or two on the funding streams related to this. You and I had launched a serious investigation. We had said these organizations don't operate alone, don't operate in silence. They operate with a heavy, heavy stream of funding. And we started looking into it, and guess what, Dan? We found them.
We found them. There it is. That's FBI Director Kash Patel, who's on Bongino's podcast today, letting everybody know that when it comes to the funders of Antifa terrorists, well, we know who they are, a major discovery regarding that, and in the next month or two, those names will be exposed. I am looking forward to that.
Drew's Top 5.
Among other things that are going on in Washington, D.C., I mean, the good things, not the ridiculous things like shutdowns. Like, what is this 3.0? Is that what this is right now? The Democrat shutdown we have going on? I don't know. Jay Town is joining us right now on Florida's Voice. He's a former U.S. attorney, and I would love to talk with him about this, among other things. It's Drew Steele. How are you, sir?
Drew, I got great news for you. You've been busy reporting the news and doing your top 5, but the USA just beat Sweden in men's ice hockey and advanced to the semifinals. So as they went to overtime, the Swedes scored with a minute and a half to go, but everybody's just ingrained into your show. They might have missed it, so I thought I'd bring a little more good news to the radio this session. Yes, it is. It's excellent.
And by the way, so clearly you're following the hockey. You love the hockey. I mean, anybody in the 80s, by the way, remembers the Olympics and hockey, and oh boy, great times, and the 70s, and obviously. The hockey team now, it's hard for me to believe that they're going to lose gold. I just feel like they're just so strong. Although, you never know in Olympic competition, but I got to tell you, it's fun. I think for me, it's fun to watch. It's great to see them play.
Well, I was against, and this blends in great to, I think, our discussion today, but, I was sort of against, the NBA players and NHL players going to the Olympics, because what was so great about that 1980 Miracle on Ice team is there were a bunch of college kids, right, and amateurs and playing the world, but you know what? The neat thing about it, I guess the upside is, none of these guys need to play for anybody other than their NHL teams. But they're over there playing their guts out, giving up their bodies, doing whatever it takes to win for their country. Yeah. And it's a great juxtaposition of what we are seeing too often in this country, from the left especially, that it's about me. It's about me versus you, the other American, right? It's division. Yeah. And these guys are over there playing their guts out, a bunch of millionaires, taking pucks to the face because they love their country, and I love it.
Yeah. One thing that I don't understand is when it comes to politics now, shifting gears, why is it that Democrats seem to continue to die on those 93.7 hills on the wrong side? Like they just, to the point where here we are with this partial shutdown, which is just, again, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish this go around except to appease the crazy leftist base. I mean, is that what we're doing right now?
It sure seems so. The loudest voices in the Democratic Party, and believe it or not, John Fetterman has been talking about this for over a year now. But they just don't let him amplify his voice very much because he's sort of contrarian to the base of the Democratic Party. But when it comes to immigration, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to law and order, when it comes to free and fair elections, the left's on the other side on all of those. And it's almost like Trump has this psychological hold over them that if he's for it, they have to be against it. Like, I can't agree with Trump, says every Democrat or every liberal, I think, because he's Trump. And it must be a bad idea. And if you look at the successes this man has had in his first 4 years and now in the last 13 months or so, it's staggering how successful of a President Trump is. And a lot of folks, there's lots of different types of leadership styles out there. But if they asked two professional golfers, hey, how do you show if a guy's a good golfer or not? And one pro gives this really highly technical, his hips get through, his head's down, his swing plane. The other guy says where the ball lands. That's how I know. Right. And Trump is a where the ball lands guy. Look, you might not like that he called somebody a piggy or that, he's flipping somebody the bird or whatever. It's not presidential. It's not presidential? Setting up, spy cams on the incoming administration because you don't like the fact that Hillary Clinton lost Obama, right? I mean, or Biden, it's not presidential, just being Biden at every level, right?
Yeah.
So just having your chief of staff and a group of about 7 people running the country while you are napping and who knows what else that man was doing, but it wasn't running the country. Right. And so I like to see where the ball lands, and the ball's been landing in or near the hole consistently when it comes to foreign affairs and immigration and the border and the economy. And I'm here for 3 more years of it. I wish our Senate would figure out a way to vote on the Trump agenda, because the last time I checked, Trump had 77 million votes and change, and there's not one senator that's a Republican that had more than a couple 100,000. So let's get the Trump agenda going.
Yeah. Although Joe Biden had 874 million people voting for him, Jay. So, I mean, there's that.
Right. Well, look, AOC was the fact checker on that, so I understand where you're getting those numbers. Right?
I like you, Jay. You're fun. Come on. He's bringing the funny heat. Let's go. I like that. Good stuff. All right.
All right.
Yeah, we got to jump. We're up against the break in just a minute, but before we go, you mentioned the Senate, and I'll just say we got about 30 seconds left. It's really John Thune. Right, I mean, it's just one person. We know what to do. Let them talk until they're blue in the face, and then there we go. It looks like we've got the 50 committed. We're good, 50 plus 1. Yeah. We can get it done.
And this is really, the founders never intended for some zombie filibuster. The filibuster was meant for one person to be able to stop a bill. Fine, Democrats, prove you have the stamina for it. If you don't, then we're going to get to 50, maybe more, and we're going to pass the Save America Act so that we can have free and fair elections in this country.
That's it. Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's see what they've got. And like I played the clip before, look, the president's got all of these wins on so many different issues, and the Democrats are shifting now and pivoting to a trans Bill of Rights. That's all you need to know. There's their position, because that's all they've got. So anyway, all right, my friend. Listen, it was great to hear from you.
Have me on anytime.
Will do. All right, we'll see you soon.
I can't wait to come back.
All right, all the best. God bless. We'll see you soon. That's Jay Town joining us, former U.S. attorney here on Florida's Voice. All right, take a break, and we put a bow on the show coming up next. My name is Drew Steele, and this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little fly, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Yeah, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With confidence grows and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bob.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on JNC Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, JNC Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Post that the president has a prepared speech on this issue that he prepares to deliver at the right time. Is that true? And does the Trump administration believe aliens are real?
Well, a speech on aliens would be news to me. That sounds very exciting, though. I'll have to check in with our speech writing team. And that would be of great interest to me personally, and I'm sure all of you in this room, and apparently former President Obama, too. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Oh, boy. They're talking aliens. Aliens is back in the news again. So the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt being asked by a reporter, saying something to the effect of, heard that the president in his speech plans to deliver something on aliens. And Caroline was like, I don't know. I don't think so. That's news to me. All right. So what's the over-under on that, D? Does the president, at his State of the Union address next Tuesday, does he mention aliens like Barack Obama? Okay. That's easy. Because, right, it was Obama talked about it on, I guess on, did we play that audio? No, we didn't play that the other day. He was on that podcast because I was too busy getting upset about some of the things he was saying about Trump and other. Okay, so here's the clip, by the way, in case you missed it, of Barack Obama, which you probably did because it was on a lefty podcast, talking about aliens.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens? Isn't that funny? All right, so the aliens, D, they're not at Area 51, but maybe, look.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so you think that, so that's a head fake. So that's Obama on a head fake saying they're not at Area 51, and if you're thinking that they're there, there's no underground, but there is. It's a head fake. I get it. I see where you're going with that. Do you think that the president asks right away as the first question, on average, are there aliens? Is that the first thing that they ask? No, I don't think so either. By the way, I do believe there are aliens and they're demonic. That's it. I said it. So that's what I think is going on.
I believe there are aliens, and I don't think they're demonic.
Oh, okay. Well, we can debate this another time. We don't have a whole lot of time now. But I know I have so many clips. Do we have enough time? Let's see. Oh, my. Some of them will have to get saved for tomorrow. Like the clip of what I thought was one of the most outrageous things I've heard in a long time about the student who graduated high school with honors, goes to UConn, only to find out that, I mean, she knew, but for them to find out that she can't read. She's illiterate. She's suing the high school. They gave her honors at graduation and she can't read. She got into UConn. The whole story's out there, and I want to play tomorrow that clip because I can't even believe it, but it's true. And then some fun out of some other areas. I was going to play this clip, but I just don't have the time to play it right now. Some stuff out of New York City. It's fun when you have lefties who get into office who tell you, it's strange. The Democrats on a different level tell you all the things that they're going to do as a moderate, and then they govern as a leftist. Mamdani says he's going to govern as a leftist, and he's kind of backing off on a lot of his policies. It's weird. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.